Why are we making a TV show called The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? This is the Mom Talk group, and they were participating in soft swinging, which is like almost going all the way, but not.
I have never seen someone was so open about not living those standards that the church espouses and still called themselves LDS.
It's just interesting that they're like promoting that life because it's like, it just rubs us wrong.
Is it okay for the people that are on wide ends of this spectrum to be representing the wives in that church?
Oh, no.
Okay, guys, it's time to expose the Mormons.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ready.
And by that, I mean The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, Mormons. New
New
show on Hulu that we
have been
will
watching
probably watch, but
non-stop.
maybe
Actually.
don't love the concept of.
Love trash TV. Love trash TV. I'm all about that. I'm just kidding. I actually haven't watched trash TV in a
I kind of
while.
like trash TV.
That was a
I
comment.
like The Bachelorette and The Bachelor.
I like The Bachelor.
And I was into Love is Blind for a little while.
Yeah.
That's like
Same.
kind of
Yeah.
trash TV.
Not-
but
not
this is like
Not like
this is like more next level though.
Yeah.
Trash TV.
Yeah.
Okay, quick, like throwing it back old school. There was a big writer's strike in 2007 or 2008. And because of that, the hit TV series Lost was delayed, which was a bummer for me. But also,
In
it gave rise
2008?
to the show Jersey Shore, which was the start of the explosion of reality TV.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't
You
know
sound
that.
like one of those like documentary like.
Well, it's just funny.
and then this happened. And
reality TV like has always existed, but that writer strike is when certain shows like Jersey Shore exploded.
Huh.
And
Hmm.
its children and progeny are the Real Housewives shows and this.
yeah.
and the Kardashians.
What
and-
caused this sort of thing to work? I would say probably TikTok.
for sure.
That's where
Because
the
this
people
started.
were from.
This is the group. This is the Mom Talk group.
Yep.
And if y'all are familiar with that drama that
Here's the
happened,
background.
what was it, last year?
It seems
They
like last year,
were-
but it could have been, like 2020 to now is 1 year.
It was 20.
so-
Yeah, it was
23.
that group of friends who call themselves members of the church.
Yeah. Like
Call themselves Mormon.
actually they say
Um,
that in like Mormon mom.
And they're all
and-
somewhat popular
Yeah.
influencers, right? They all have
Yeah.
a following on
Uh-huh.
TikTok. There's like
Yep.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were participating in soft swinging, which is
Which-
like almost going all the way, but not. Anyway, and they'd have these parties. And then Taylor Frankie Paul went too far with one of the guys, and she ended up with him and ended up divorcing her husband. And it
Uh-huh.
was
This
the
is
whole
so hard
thing.
to keep like a straight
And now she has
I-
a kid
face
with the new guy.
Yeah, admittedly, I kind of love them. I follow Taylor Frankie Paul, and
You
I
are part of the
Her and
problem.
Dakota just had a baby, and I just think they're kind of cute, and I feel like they're trying
Oh my
to be
gosh.
better. I've seen them go to church, but they still are like, yeah, we're Mormons that drink coffee. da, 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 da. Anyway, I'm not saying that what they did was good, but I do follow them, and I am interested in their life. But why are we making a TV show called The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? That just sounds, I mean, secret, first of all. Why are we using that
also
word?
wasn't secret.
No, nothing
was
about this
very
is secret.
Well known to millions.
So are we calling this
And
a
also,
clickbait
why are they
type
claiming
headline?
Mormon?
Yeah.
Like,
Because
is it to draw people in, or is it because they legitly are like, yeah, we're Mormon and we live that life?
Well,
but
what would
they
the alternate title
don't.
be? The
It's very
Secret
evident.
Life of Daybreak Housewives. It's either that, but I think Mormon is just a little bit
yeah,
more.
because
Daybreak? I love that you're calling out Daybreak.
Isn't that?
I don't
Daybreak is
know. I thought
such a
they were in
pretty place,
Draper.
though.
Oh, sorry, Daybreak.
Sorry, we're getting to
My
Utah.
parents live there.
We're
I
getting
love
to
that
Utah.
place.
No, but if it said Daybreak Housewives, people would be like,
There's appeal to
True.
people who
Yeah.
aren't Mormon by saying
Uh-huh.
Mormon.
Dude,
And
people
probably
love
people
the
who are.
Mormon
They do.
stuff.
and not love like, not that.
Love like,
like
look
this
at
is
that.
crazy. These people are real.
Yeah, it's just interesting that they're claiming it. But I feel like, and we talked about this, Brett and I did. just, like,
Extensively.
yeah, like, why are they claiming? Because I know it's made a lot of people upset. There's the Orthodox, there's the more like, hey, Mormons are not like this. Like, members of the church do not live like this. This is not how we roll.
Mhm.
We have a very specific lifestyle that we live, and these people are not living it. And like, that does upset us. And that like upsets me sometimes too. And it's like, why? Why does it upset me
Yeah.
so? You know?
I saw a comment that someone was responding to this announcement, and they said something like, this is like having a show for marathon runners for people who have never ran a marathon. And I don't think that's exactly it, but like I think that I get that feeling a little bit where it's like maybe there are a lot of people, because this is a group like of 7 or 8 moms, and I actually don't think that all of them claim that they're members of the church, but the show is saying that they like is making it seem like they all are.
That's interesting. They might
like,
even
they
take
grew up
issue with
that
the
way.
name, but they're like,
Maybe.
we just got to do the show.
Yeah.
We'll let it fly.
Interesting.
I remember when the main person is Taylor Frankie Paul, and she had like this affair story and I think even served a night in jail. And while the saga was unfolding, Kate, you were following it and you were telling me about it. And the biggest thing I was confused by is I kept asking, wait, so she is a member of the church? Like, is she active? I had all these questions for you. I was so intrigued because I have never seen someone who, whether it's like Law of Chastity or Word of Wisdom, who was so open about not living those standards that the church espouses and still called themselves LDS or members of the church. They usually
because usually
have
people
fallen
just
away.
like leave it behind if they want to live that life, you know?
Exactly.
But I don't know. Maybe there's a bigger group than we think.
I have a theory, but I want to hear everyone else's thoughts first.
I don't have a theory.
The theory is
but I want to hear your
forthcoming.
theory.
Yeah, I want to hear your theory first.
Let us turn to the scriptures. I actually, this morning was like looking. In 35:6, you have the church. But then they all start to separate based on classes and wealth and education, and it breaks up. And you have all of these kind of denominations. And I thought that's interesting that in this case, people didn't just leave the church, like in the Book of Mormon. And I think it's having a group around you that also lives that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the reason there are more people willing to call themselves members of the church still and associate with the church, even though maybe they don't live certain laws or standards, is because they have friends or other groups of people in a similar situation.
Yeah.
And they still might like parts of the church or like
I think so. I think that's why they hang on to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that even if someone has left the church, but maybe not in a way that they are like super mad at it and they want to fight it, they just like decide that their life is going a different direction and then they step that way. For those people, do you think that they can still identify as Mormon, as members of
Would
the
we
church?
gatekeep them? Would we?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
That's a good question.
And maybe they use the term Mormon in that sense because they're not going to say, hey, I'm a member of the Church of Christ of Latter-day Saints, because at that point they're not anymore. But to say Mormon, is Mormon more of like a cultural...
Yeah, I feel like they're talking about it more as like when they say, yeah, I've met a lot of people, or I met a lot of people on my mission who would say, yeah, I used to be Mormon. Like they use that term to just kind of associate with how they grew up and like, so I just kind of assume when someone's like, yeah, I used to be Mormon or I grew up Mormon, that they're usually just not anymore. They don't really claim it anymore. But it seems
maybe
like
the word Mormon has evolved into the cultural identity of being raised in Utah and things like that, or outside of Utah as well, but being a member of the church, being raised that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is why I think it's really wise that President Nelson had us associate, change our name. I mean, not change our name, but refer to ourselves as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, because you can see a distinction when people use the term Mormon versus like the Church of Jesus Christ. And you look like you're
I'm just laughing. I was thinking like the secret lives of the wives of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
No one would watch it.
It doesn't roll off the tongue. No.
Yeah. And even like when I follow like Taylor Frankie Paul's account, they posted that it was a couple weeks ago. They posted that they did church at home. Like, get ready with us to do church at home. And they have done ones where they've gone to church, but they just did church at home that day for whatever reason. And they had activity books for their kids that had primary stuff, and they showed them saying a prayer and whatnot. But also in the morning, it showed that they made iced coffee to prepare for church at home. And they're like, yeah, we're Mormons that drink coffee. Like, what of it? And then a lot of people in the comments were like, oh my gosh, I'm like this too. Like, there are just certain, like, I love the church, but I also drink coffee and I also do this. And you totally don't need to go to church to have like a fulfilling church experience and blah, blah, blah. So there's definitely a group. There's definitely an audience who relates to these people.
Yeah,
and
I have a thought. It's
interesting.
So is it okay for people to be on a spectrum of faith? I think yes, right? But is it okay for the people that are on wide ends of this spectrum to be representing to people who don't know of the church, the wives in that church? And I think that's what's harmful to people.
Okay, so this is interesting. The like dichotomy of, on one side, you don't represent necessarily what the church believes or the values that we espouse. And so maybe we are somewhat upset with those standards. And that's valid because you want to be represented in how your beliefs are. That's why people get upset maybe about politicians if they feel like a politician from their party doesn't represent them.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other side, you also want these people around. Like, you don't want to, if anyone has any spark of faith and wants to become closer to Jesus Christ, you want them around and you want them to like invite them more to follow the Savior. But it's a weird line to draw. Like, what's the right response to people?
I do.
Love, of course.
Yeah. From a lot of the comments I've seen on Reddit and stuff, I think most people do recognize, anyone who's even remotely familiar with the church do recognize that they don't live the standards. Even so, it's just interesting that they're like promoting that life, because it's like, it just rubs us wrong. I don't know. It rubs us wrong a little bit. Do I wish I could drink coffee sometimes? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's why it rubs me wrong.
Yeah.
It's like,
because you're like, I
We
am
talked about this,
refusing
like,
this thing.
I am just jealous. Like that.
Coffee smells delicious. No, I drink Pero. Do you guys know what Pero is?
Yeah.
Anyway, I make
my
iced
sister-in-law
coffee
likes that also.
out of Pero.
Mhm.
It's delicious. You should try sometime.
They drink that a lot at the members in Germany, probably in other countries too.
Oh, do they? Yeah,
yeah.
they drink it in Chile too when I
Mhm.
went on my mission.
What? So what are what would you say Mormon wives? What actually are they? What are the values that the general Mormon wife holds?
Just like,
is it swinging? Is it?
oh no.
Are you asking how
Wait,
common that is?
like
Sabrina?
loyal to your spouse. You have lots of kids. You take care of the home. If you want to work, you can work. But also, like, your big role is to take care of your kids and be a mom and be faithful and participate in your church callings. And
usually have a church calling. I feel like if I think about my ward, probably every mom has some sort of church calling. I mean, guys too, right? But we're talking about moms here, so
yeah.
Or women,
Noted.
wives.
And some element of trying to maintain some level of perfection in a way.
Yeah.
Like
So not
trying
all
to
positive
look like you
things.
can handle it all.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah, that is
sometimes we
common.
get that rep a little bit.
So your question becomes, are they representing these for better or for worse?
I mean, to people who don't know, what are they going to think?
Well, should we
I'm-
find out next time on our watch party? Should we?
I know. When does
Come
this
back
come
with-
out? It's not out yet.
It's soon
Right.
though. I think.
It's supposed
I
to
think
come out
it's in
soon.
September.
Well,
Because I'm probably gonna watch it.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna watch it.
at
We
least
should watch
you'll see clips on your feed.
Anyways, let us know what you think in the comments. Are you
Yeah.
gonna watch this show? Are they representing? No, we already know they're not. But I'm sorry, I should say that.
You can still ask the question. People might disagree.
What do you think? Let us know. Thanks for watching.